Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Raymond Arty, and welcome to the final episode of The Ethics of YouTube. I'm happy to be done with this series now, and I hope you've all been enjoying it. Hope you've all enjoyed listening to it on SoundCloud, on Spotify, on whatever platform you're on. In this episode, we'll be discussing the biggest issue surrounding YouTube right now, which is YouTube Kids. It has caused many YouTubers to lose money, while also causing problems for parents, which I will explain in this video. It all started back in 2015 when YouTube Kids was first launched. YouTube launched YouTube Kids to stop children under the age of 13 from accessing the main site and finding adult content. It would also promote content made specifically for children, mostly for children under 6. YouTube Kids would also block all content not made for children, as well as disabling likes, dislikes, and the comments section. Even at the launch of the website/app, YouTube Kids had problems filtering content, but the issues with YouTube Kids didn't really become widespread until 2017, when reports of inappropriate videos using popular characters like Spider-Man and Elsa started popping up all over not just YouTube, but also YouTube Kids. These videos contained graphic violence, sexual situations, fetishes, obscene language, use of drugs and alcohol, injections, toilet humor, and dangerous or upsetting situations or activities, and they led to children being traumatized, according to parents. These videos would often include long and nonsensical titles designed to attract the YouTube algorithm and drive the kids to watch the videos to make as much money as possible. There were also videos featuring child abuse from channels such as Toy Freaks and Family of 5 that were removed around the same time. These videos featuring popular characters were obviously unofficial, but the babies who watched YouTube Kids wouldn't know that. These videos were eventually dealt with, and they're now not as much of an issue on YouTube as they used to be, but some traces of them still exist in one popular series on YouTube Kids, which I will discuss later in this podcast. Not long after Elsagate came the Momo Challenge, which told kids to harden themselves, and it led to a few children actually killing themselves. It got so bad that the PSNI had to tell their parents to watch out for Momo, and the warning from them spread worldwide. This was by no means the end of the issues for YouTube Kids. In 2019, YouTube was found to be in violation of COPPA, which is the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. And this led to a massive change in how YouTube was run in general, because since then, YouTubers have had to state whether their videos and channels are for kids or not. Targeted advertisements were also banned on YouTube Kids because there used to be tons of product placement in ordinary looking videos for brands such as Kinder Eggs and McDonald's that would get tens of millions of views each. The amount of Kinder Egg surprise videos on YouTube Kids in particular was actually ridiculous at one point. Then after that we had more controversy on the way. Obviously it didn't end there. Both of these things happened because of complaints filed by the FTC and Truth in Advertising to YouTube because of them not disclosing sponsored videos. In particular, channels like Ryan's World were targeted for not disclosing sponsorships with McDonald's. If someone is found to have mislabeled their video or channel as being for kids or not for kids, then they can get a fine of over $40,000. To this day, YouTube Kids has a massive problem around filtering content, including labeling most animation as being for children, which is wrong for many reasons. There have been several channels that have blown up and become some of the biggest across the whole of YouTube thanks to YouTube Kids, such as Ryan's World, which I mentioned earlier, Pink Fong, and Coco Melon. These channels are loved by toddlers, but hated by most other people because of them using product placement, pandering the kids to get subscribers, and being extremely obnoxious. They've all become so big that they've made media outside of YouTube and YouTube Kids. Ryan's World had a TV show on Nick Jr. and another series on Amazon Kids, as well as a video game on PC and all major consoles. Pink Fong have made billions from Baby Shark, which is the most watched video in the history of YouTube with over 10 billion views. Baby Shark has its own TV show, a stage musical. It has appeared in movies, video games, and TV shows, and the song has also been used by detention officers to torture prisoners. Coco Melon is the second biggest channel on YouTube in total in terms of subscribers and views, and its content is also available on Netflix, Roku and Hulu, as well as on Universal Kids in the US and Cartoonito in the UK and Ireland. In addition to all of this, there are cartoons on YouTube Kids that blatantly rip off popular franchises. One example is a series called Wolfoo, which is such a rip-off of Peppa Pig that Entertainment One, the company that produces Peppa Pig, are taking S-Connect, the creators of Wolfoo, to court for copyright infringement. Alongside the mass plagiarism, Wolfoo also commits all of the YouTube Kids sins mentioned earlier in the episode, in addition to having the worst aspects of Peppa Pig. But despite this, the two main Wolfoo channels have over 10 million subscribers each, with another one having 5 million subscribers. Hi, I'm here with someone who personally knows what it's like to look after children. Could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Katie, and I am teaching on the Early Childhood Care and Education programme here in Ballyfermot.
Now, when did you first start teaching on this course?
I started this year, but I've been working with children for the last 12, 13 years.
What have you experienced from how media, what are your notes on like how media can affect the behaviour of children, like your personal experience?
Children nowadays, as we know, are so into iPads, television, all these things, especially with superheroes of any kind. So anyone that has a child will know if they're having a bit of a bad moment, they just put on the television or put on YouTube or whatever it is, and they'll sit and watch it, and they will be engrossed by what they're watching, and what they see is what they believe is supposed to happen in the real world.
Do you believe that there could be any negative consequences for the parents, not just the children, but the parents as well?
Behavioural problems would come from the children constantly watching them, yes. So parents would then have to deal with those behavioural issues, and if the parents think, or if the children think that what they're seeing is what's supposed to happen in life, then it will go against what the parents are thinking.
Do you believe that moderation needs to be like pushed more, not in just like media and like it needs to be pushed in just parenting? Like we can't just keep saying, oh, we need to ban people from a certain age from watching this stuff. What we need to also say is the parents also need to moderate this. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would totally agree with it, that parents need to know what the children are watching on YouTube, because we know what YouTube and apps like it, that if one video can come on and following that another video can come on that they don't even know it's linked to the video that they're originally watching.
Yeah, the autoplay feature.
Yeah, so that can be have big negative consequences for the children and what they're seeing, without the parents knowing what's going on.
Yes, it could lead to them accidentally stumbling from like a cute, innocent video of their favourite shows onto something unofficial that has those characters, but it has like really, really bad stuff like use of drugs and injections and all that. That has happened quite a lot.
Yeah, I would imagine, yeah, because you even see it yourself, like if there's ads, even ourselves will just click skip ads, but children may not know how to skip the ads, and they're seeing ads for bad things, whatever it is, like fizzy drinks, like to give an example, do you know? And they'll want the fizzy drink then.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you. It's been great having you on.
You're welcome, no problem.
Gave me a lot of good insight into how children can be affected by the media they watch on social media, on YouTube Kids, and on TV as well.
On TV, yes.
So thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
My conclusion for everything discussed in this podcast is that YouTube Kids truly is a confusing place where tons of inappropriate videos slip through the cracks and onto the iPads of 2-year-olds who end up traumatized and developing trust issues and weird fetishes. Now, I just want to thank you all so much for listening to every episode of The Ethics of YouTube. I hope you've all been enjoying listening to me talk about these issues, which are fairly serious in many ways. The jingle that I've been using for the whole series, it has been Life Goes On from the Persona 5 soundtrack composed by Shoji Meguro, and I've been using it at the start of every episode of this series, and I have been improving like the placement of that and everything. And if you're wondering where you can find me, you can listen to this podcast on SoundCloud, on Spotify, on Apple Music, on basically anything, and even on YouTube, where this is available as an audiogram alongside all of the others. Now, I just want to thank you all so much for listening to The Ethics of YouTube.